But I have a lot of information to get out in the next 20 minutes, and I'm hoping to give you guys some tools that you could literally implement tomorrow that's going to help you grow your business. How many people out there, tell me, are in a sales or business development role or own a company where you're responsible for growing your business? Okay, and now raise your hand if you've got a written game plan that you can give to me tomorrow that tells me exactly how you're going to grow your business. Okay, we got a couple hands in here. That's what this presentation is all about. So I'm going to get started. So first of all, I'm not going to give you a whole history of myself, but believe it or not, I used to be really shy, and speaking in front of this group would have scared me to death. But basically, when I ran for president of the MBA Association at Temple and I started talking in front of 12 people, it helped me grow into what I'm doing right now. I started my business 15 years ago after running a 40-man sales force for ADP. And how many of you know ADP? How many of you know that we have weekly quotas and every single Tuesday night we got to stand up in front of all the other salespeople and say what we sold, and if we didn't sell anything, they flashed a zero and we had to say pass. Did you guys know that? And I had 12 years of that. But I became passionate about helping people that are in sales or business development. If they're not hitting their numbers, how do we get them to hit their numbers? If they're average, how do we get them to be good? If they're good, how do we get them to be great? And if they're great, how do we actually turn them into superstars? Now, who here is like baseball? I'm a little disappointed with what's happening in the Phillies lately. But if I said someone was a 280 hitter over their lifetime, what would you tell me about that hitter? Okay. Now what if I said 330? Hall of Famer. So 280, for those of you who don't know, means 28 hits for every 100 at bats. Versus 33 hits for every 100 at bats. So the difference is how many hits for every 100 at bats? 5. 5 out of 100 is what percent? 5%. Guess what? There's not a big difference between those average performers out there and the superstars. And hopefully some of the tips that I'm going to be sharing with you right now are going to help you get to that superstar level. Because it's all about maximizing your performance and your potential. So after 33 years in sales, I've whittled it down to 3 areas. Attitude, motivation, process, and what activities are we doing? So we're really not going to be talking about the sales process right now, but we're going to be talking about what activities should you be doing? What do you actually need to do to grow your business? And by the way, you have a wheel of fortune in front of you, and you have a little pad of paper. So we're going to be using that throughout this, okay? So first of all, I might surprise you by saying I've never played football a single day in my life. But how many football coaches, other than Rich Kotite, went into the game without a game plan, right? I think Doug Peterson was brilliant, right? But we gotta have a game plan. And the way I want to look at it is, if you're a small business owner and you have a choice of 3 employees, one that's basically winging it every day, one that's got a game plan right here, and one that has a written, well-defined game plan that dictates what they're doing on a 30, 60, 90-day basis, and you only had a choice of 1 employee, which one would we be picking, right? So this is the way I want you to think about your game plan. May I use you, sir?
Sure.
Have you been on an all-expense paid vacation anywhere in the world for 3 months lately?
Never.
Let's just say I'm going to send you. Where would you go, by the way?
Go to Europe.
You'd go to Europe. All right, so here, I've got you on a gorgeous beach. Everybody, let's go there together. I've got you on a gorgeous beach. Sunset. Just got you a massage on the beach. Now I'm having hors d'oeuvres and drinks served to you. But can you be outside of your business for 3 months? You can't be out of your business for 3 months. So guess what I'm going to have to do? Did you know you have an identical twin brother?
I didn't know that.
Well, he's got your same smarts, he's got your same background, he's got everything that you've got. The only thing your identical twin brother can't do is think for himself. So the question is, for you to stay and go all around Europe, what are you going to tell your identical twin brother to do? That's the basis of the game plan. And by the way, I'll talk about squeezing lemon. I've got one for each one of you for helping me out a little bit here. Okay? So we want to think about it. Now let's just say I gave you $3,000 this week. And I said, whatever you don't spend, you lose. How much are you spending this week?
$3,000.
How about 3,000 each and every week? Well, guess what? If you're working a 50-hour work week, you get 3,000 minutes. So how do we spend those 3,000 minutes to make sure we're getting the biggest bang for the buck? So when we look at our business and come up with a game plan, it's all about figuring out your business. So it's comprised of 3 components. It's your repeat business from your existing customers, it's upselling and cross-selling, and then it's the net new business that you need to grow your numbers. I focus on net new business because that's one of the key things that we all have to focus on. So you should be looking at your business over the last couple of years and figure out what the breakdown is. Because ultimately, we need to figure out how much you want to make, how much you want to sell, and then we got to figure out how much we can count on as repeat business, how much we can upsell and cross-sell, and then how much net new business we need. So once we do that, I guess I like baseball, but then we look at the net new business because not every opportunity is the same. We've got singles, doubles, triples, and home runs. So you got to figure out what your range is for all those levels, and then come up with ultimately how many sales you need to make. So in this particular example, it's $1 million quota with 24 sales. So I basically need 2 every single month. And when you look at your game plan, you take your annual goals divided by 4 becomes your quarterly goals. Your quarterly goals divided by 3 becomes your monthly goals. Your monthly goal divided by 4 becomes your weekly. And your weekly divided by 5 becomes your daily. Now, why would you set up a daily goal? Every day, I gotta put on my clothes, I gotta put on my makeup, and I've gotta figure out I need to reach out to 5 new people, right? So if you have daily goals, every week I need to have 2 net new meetings with brand new clients. So you gotta come up and figure that out. So now once I know I need the 24 sales, well, it's telling me again, I need 2 net new appointments every single week in order to make that number. Everybody following me so far? This is one of the keys right now. Because once I know this, then I gotta figure out what do I need to do in order to get to that number. So, in front of you is something called a Wheel of Fortune. It used to be called the BDU Wheel until I had my tarot cards read and they pulled out the Wheel of Fortune, and I changed the wheel at that point to the Wheel of Fortune. But this is meant to represent everything that you or your business could do for business development efforts. I'm not a marketing company, so there's a lot of things here on marketing that we don't do. But in order to come up with this game plan, basically all you need to do is figure out what spokes apply to you, and then from there, got to set up SMART goals. Anybody ever seen this acronym before? Raise your hand. If you haven't, I say this could change your entire life. And that's a pretty powerful statement. Because your game plan is all about setting up SMART goals, specific, measurable, aligned, realistic, and time. And there's 2 types of goals. There's activity goals and there's result goals. We just went through the result goals. How many net new appointments, where am I going to get my revenue? But then we got to figure out what activities are we going to do in order to get those goals. So, when it comes to our pipeline, I've learned over the years that if your pipeline is rich and you have a lot of prospects in there, you're like a lion. I don't need to get any one particular deal because there's enough in my pipeline. But if there's not enough in the pipeline, I'm trying to fit round pegs in square holes and trying to make clients that aren't a good fit because I don't have enough in there. So we got to figure out how we can fill the pipeline. Well, one of the ways is to do some prospecting. I don't call it cold calling because you never need to make a cold call again, just as long as you got a legitimate reason to reach out to somebody. But how many calls are you going to make every day? How many emails? Are you going to have letter campaigns? And by the way, it takes 8 to 12 touches to get into a company. So if you don't have a multi-pronged approach to reaching out to the companies that you want to work with, especially with your triples and your home runs, well, you're not going to get into a lot of companies. This is just one of the ways, and I had planned drop-offs. I had a large packaging company, and they made up a little package. She dropped it off. She got a $90,000 opportunity. Not good for all of us, but where's Chris? There you are. You said you, is it your name, Chris?
Dan.
Oh, Dan, sorry. I meant a Chris, too. But Dan said he's okay with knocking on doors. He's got a cleaning business, and he's okay with knocking on doors and figuring it out. That might be part of his game plan. Again, we have to figure out what we want to do, and the key is coming up with a 30, 60, 90-day game plan. Well, it's a lot easier to network than prospect, right? Who here goes fishing? You do?
I do.
With a fishing rod?
Pardon?
A fishing rod you use?
Certainly.
And how many hooks do you have on the bottom of your line?
One.
And how many fish could you catch at once?
One.
As opposed to going into the whole ocean or wherever you're fishing, the lake, with a big old net and you can catch a whole bunch, right?
Yes.
So, networking makes a whole lot of sense, right, as part of your game plan. So, how many networking events, how many associations am I going to belong to, how many centers of influence meetings am I going to have, how many telecoffees? Who knows what a telecoffee is, by the way? You drink your coffee, they drink their coffee, but you just are on the phone. And sometimes it is worthwhile to have telecoffees, right? So we got to figure out that, but ultimately, those are the activities, but what's the corresponding result that we want to get out of it? And if everybody's looking at some of these lemons I'm passing out, everybody thinks it's about making lemonade out of lemons, because I am like a little Miss Mary Sunshine. My father was a double amputee when he died and never complained a moment, so I figured I don't have too much to complain about. But the concept of squeezed lemon is how do we get the most juice out of everything? How do we get the most out of today? How do we get the most out of every interaction? How do we get the most out of everything we do? And the word that corresponds with this, or the words being purposeful in everything that we do, and then it's results. Because we can do activity for activity's sake, but get nothing out of it. So ultimately, if I'm going to do all this networking, how many referrals do I want to generate, right? That's what this is all about. And then I'm going to use some social media, and I know we have a lot of speakers talking about that today. But how many speaking engagements, blogs, articles, webinars, newsletters, tweets, sharing articles, following different people, being part of LinkedIn discussions, sending out LinkedIn invitations, getting LinkedIn recommendations. And then your clients are your goal. So are you truly squeezing the opportunities with your clients? I had a woman from the Philadelphia Inquirer in my meeting yesterday, in my sales training for the last 2 days, and she said, I've never in my life asked for a referral. And she's been in sales for 32 years. I'm like, so we're leaving so much on the ground, we're leaving so many opportunities. There's so many opportunities to just get some additional business out of our existing clients. I had a client I was working with, she said, I want $300,000 of new business. I said, well, tell me about your existing client base. She said, I have one client that's $1.5 million of business, and I've got another 1.5 with my other clients. I said, how much is your client, your tire company, spending on printing? She says, I have no idea. I had her to go back and find it out. They were spending $3 million. She was only getting 1.5. She got 1/5 of the 1.5 she didn't have. And what does that equal? $300,000. A lot easier getting existing business out of an existing customer than getting net new business out of somebody else. So how many client appointments are we going to have? And by the way, you need to take your clients, you need to categorize them by A's, B's, C's. You got to figure out what the cadence is, or how often you're going to see them, and you got to figure out how many clients you need to see on a weekly basis. But if I'm going to see them, how much business do I want to generate? Do I want to get some LinkedIn recommendations? And by the way, if a client compliments you, squeezing lemon is just getting the recommendations. Good to see you. Okay? Then we have review meetings. A lot of times we do task at hand with the clients, but we don't have high-level meetings, right? So should we be doing semi-annual reviews or annual reviews or quarterly reviews with our existing clients? Ultimately, this is what you want to come out with, okay? So you want to come out with a game plan that takes all the different things that you're doing, and what you're going to do daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. Now this is a way to manually track it. So with all of our clients, and by the way, I see a lot of people taking pictures. All these tools that I'm talking about are on my website. So all you need to do is go to businessdevelopmentuniversity.com. It's under resources, it's under BD utensils. You can pull off any one of my documents, and my cards are sitting right in front of you as well. You can pull off any one of these documents and basically take your Wheel of Fortune, take the spokes that apply to you, and start generating your goal sheet. Now, hopefully you have a CRM. This is a manual effort, but hopefully you do have a CRM to be able to track this information. But once you do, then you can basically have a guide to what you're doing every 30, 60, 90 days, okay? And this is a rolling 30, 60, 90 days, by the way. Because what happens is, just like we have to measure our progress, it's not a SMART goal if you don't measure. It's just a SART goal. Get it? Okay, all right. But we need to measure. So we got to start figuring out what's working for us, what's not working for us. And then we got to start doing more of what's working and less of what's not working. So we're constantly in a stage where we're modifying this. So I want everybody, since we have 4 minutes and 7 seconds, okay, I want everybody to take their Wheel of Fortune. And I want you, if you don't want to mark up the Wheel of Fortune, I want you on your little pad of paper to start writing down 2 or 3 SMART goals that you want to accomplish. Take one of these spokes and start doing some SMART goals. So I've got a couple more lemons up here. Who's willing to share one of their SMART goals when it comes to their game plan? For a lemon? Come on, this is good for stress release. Okay, so go ahead. What's one of your SMART goals? Did you raise your hand?
One of my goals is the strategic alliances, and I've just joined an organization called the Philadelphia Estate Planning Council, and to contact and be more face-to-face with the membership.
Okay, so now a SMART goal is?
So the SMART goal is to
Specific.
okay, so set up X number of meetings per week.
Thank you. That's excellent. Set up that X number of meetings per week with centers of influence. That's your activity goal. Now the corresponding result goal is?
How many referrals are we?
Thank you. Thank you. So if we take this Wheel of Fortune and we do that with all the different spokes, now it's your basis of your game plan. And you see here a top, you saw before a top 50 program. It's important, as you saw in the numbers, it's important to have an elephant program where you've got a multi-touch system. So your opportunity starts now. You can literally tomorrow come up with your little game plan that can make a huge impact. Because for those business owners out there, if this is all the time that you have, this may be the only time you have for business development. So we got to be really smart about what we're doing with that time. So any questions about anything that I just went through in the past 18 minutes? Well, I'm available. I'm going to be here all day. One of my associates, Tom Gill, is right in the back of the room. And he was saying to me this morning, it's kind of interesting where this location is today. The Science History Museum. Because this is the science of sales. Sales is a numbers game. It's all figuring out what your numbers are and how to spend your time most effectively to get the biggest bang for your buck. So after today, I'd like you to think about what are you going to stop doing, what are you going to start doing, and what are you going to continue doing? Because if you only have one employee and that's yourself, well, be that employee that has that well-defined game plan that they can give to that identical twin brother or sister that can really figure out how to maximize the time and maximize the performance. So I have a corny lump of clay theory in life. I believe everybody starts off life as a lump of clay. Every person you meet, every experience you have shapes you into who you are. My goal of the last 20 minutes was just to make a little indentation on your lump of clay. Give you some things that you could take and implement that can make you be more successful. So also I'm writing a book on top 10 secrets of success for sales. I'm collecting sales stories. So if anybody's got a really good aha moment, something they learned, I would love you to be part of my book. Here's my information. You have my card as well. And feel free to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and all that kind of social media. I gotta tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed being out here for the past 20 minutes. Hopefully I accomplished my goal of impacting you in some little way that you can take and be more successful. So I thank everybody for your time today.